Hey there, and welcome back to another episode of the Schools of Excellence podcast. I'm really excited to be here for a special series that we're doing. So today's episode is super short. It's going to be under 10 minutes. And throughout the summer, we're going to be doing a couple of these special bonus episodes that'll be short and sweet with some really tactical tips on very specific topics. So well, I always tell all the clients that I work with, and every time I give a speech or a keynote or a workshop, I always say I'm not the tactics person. Here is where we ask, higher level questions. We really understand how to take perspectives. And then I also understand that there are times where we're just looking for some specific action steps. So I've chosen some really specific topics. And today's episode is all about how to build self-awareness. So whether you're building self-awareness in yourself or you're looking to build self-awareness in your team, I'm going to share some tactical tips with you today. So number one in building self-awareness is knowing your priorities and your goals. Why is knowing your priorities and your goals so important when it comes to self-awareness? Well, if you're not aware of where you're heading or what your priorities are, it's very difficult for you to be aware of how you're showing up or the choices that you're making or the decisions that you're making or the filters you should be using to make decisions. And so it's really important that you're cognizant of what are my priorities? What are my goals? What do I want to accomplish? Where am I going? What is important for me right now in this season of life, in the season of school, in the season of my personal life, in the season of my own life, family life, extended life, whatever it is, where am I heading? And some of you might be listening to this and saying, I don't know. Well, we actually released a recent episode called The Priorities Reset. And it was a double episode, part one, part two. So it's a two-part series where I walk you through how to set your priorities. And that episode is actually an excerpt of one of the trainings that we do in our Directors in Our Circle and our Owners HQ program. Every 90 days, we do a priorities reset call where we help all of our members get crystal clear on their priorities. Where are they supposed to be focused right now? What should they be doing with their time? How should they be delegating? And what should they be doing? So if you're not clear on that, definitely go ahead and listen to that two-part episode, which is again a replay of the priorities reset call that we do inside of our higher tier memberships. So that's the first step in self-awareness. Another tip in building self-awareness is the connection with friends who can be honest with you. So a couple of weeks ago, I went out with a girlfriend of mine from high school. So we're friends for almost 20 years. And I had flown to Dallas to speak at an event, and she lives in Austin. And so she flew to Dallas. We rented an Airbnb for literally 18 hours. And we slept for maybe 5 of the 18 hours, and the rest of the time we were talking and hanging out. We didn't go anywhere. We literally just hung out in the Airbnb, ordered in food, and just had a great time. And one of the things that I really recognized in hanging out with a friend who you could really be vulnerable and honest with is there are conversations that I had with her that I haven't had with anyone else in probably a decade. And there was this incredible feeling of connection, of being seen, of being heard, of being validated, in areas of my life that I just really needed that. I just didn't have that companionship with other people in this area of my life that I really needed to talk about. So, connecting with friends who can be honest with you is such a beautiful way to build your self awareness skill. Now, you might be thinking, oh, I have friends, or you need real girlfriends, real friends who you could sit down. You don't have to, worry about, oh, if I say this, are they not going to be friends with me anymore? Are they going to think less of me? Are they going to start judging me? Are they going to, blackmail me from the, block party, whatever? Like, you need a girlfriend that you can have that kind of honest conversation. It was interesting because when I was sharing this concept in a strategic advisory session that I did in our owners group, a couple of people had shared how they really don't have good friends right now. It's one of the things that we do inside our owners group. we do something called connection challenges, where we connect owners who are in similar seasons of life, similar goals and ambitions, and just where they're heading, and bring them together so they could start building relationships and connecting with other like minded owners. And having a friend, a really good friend, so important. Now, if you're listening to this and you're like, I've got friends, well, another tip for you is, how can you build relationships and community for your staff? When your staff have friends at work, they stay at work with you. So we actually did an episode as well, called The Paradox of Self-Reliance and Community. You could definitely check that out as well. And I really explain super deeply inside there how to build a culture of belonging, how to build a culture of community, where your staff get along and connect with one another. So that's another continued resource, layered onto this tip. And the final thing that I want to share with you, and one of the skills to build self-awareness, is practice asking for feedback. So many times, we in our mind, we think we want feedback because we know that through feedback we get better. But then when we get feedback, we fall apart and we judge ourselves, and we're like, I'm going to be perfect, look perfect, and act perfect, so no one can have any negative feedback to say about me. And Winston Churchill is known for this great quote of like, you have enemies, great, now you've stood up for something in your life. And if you don't have people who don't like you, you're not taking a stand on anything, basically. And if you're a leader and you're listening to this podcast, you need to take a stand on something, right? You are the voice of the next generation of leaders of these children. And there are going to be people that don't like you. And this isn't about building a thicker skin. This is about understanding the comfortability with yourself and the discernment of making your own decisions and being comfortable with that and leaning into that, and understanding that your self-worth doesn't come from what people think, or what any of all the parents in your center think, if they like you or if they don't like you, if you open school 10 minutes early or close 30 minutes early. You're never going to please everyone. And as much as in your mind you believe that, subconsciously there's a part of you that is still fighting for that approval. And until you develop the muscle to ask for feedback and sit in that discomfort, you cannot build your self awareness. And as you lack the self awareness, you cannot build a school of excellence. A school of excellence is built on those foundations of trust, of feedback, of leadership, of vulnerability. And these are hard skills to build. They're not easy. And there's no, one step process or 5 steps. There's no like, put in the dollar bill, push the button, and the Coca-Cola comes out. These skills are soft skills. They are built through hours and hours of repetition of doing this thing and trying this thing. And again, this is years of work. And so this is why I'm against these tactics of like these short, quick episodes of like, here and do these 3 things and now you'll be more self-aware. Sure, do these 3 things for the next 3 years and then you'll really start to become more self-aware. So I'm sharing these with you because while they're very simple, they're not easy to execute on. And this is not a 1 week or 3-month process. This is years. You're playing the decades game. And when you're playing the decades game, you're looking to really build your skill of self-awareness as a leader. And if you're coaching leaders, right, you might be listening and saying, I'm really self-aware. I really want to help my leaders or my staff become more self-aware. This is the place to start. Use the exact same formula with them. And the main thing is to say, if you want to get better, if this is your career, if this is what you're looking to do with your life, or even for the next 3 to 5 years, building your self-awareness muscle is a powerful, powerful tool to become a phenomenal leader. All right. Thanks so much for listening to these bonus episodes on how to build a school of excellence. And I hope you join us for the next one.